Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Membership Minute, Printing United Alliance's weekly series dedicated to bringing you the latest in association news. Today, we have another special extended Membership Minute where we will meet an expert of Printing United Alliance. Joining us today is Andy Paparozzi, and he has been the chief economist at Printing United Alliance for almost 3 years, and he has been part of the industry for 37 years. Thanks for joining us, Andy.
My pleasure, Ashley. Thank you.
Andy is hosting an Ask the Experts webinar where he will give an economic update, including whether or not the recovery from the COVID-19 recession has begun, how strong it will be when it does begin, and when to expect it. He will also present key printing business indicators and a forecast for full year 2021 printing industry sales. If you would like to learn more about these member-only webinars, please visit sgia.org/education/ask-the-experts. Recordings of the webinars will be made available to members to access via sgia.org. So Andy, to kick this off, why don't you tell our members a little bit about yourself, your background, and your area of expertise?
Well, certainly, Ashley. I am part of a 5-member research team that includes colleagues from the association side and the NAPCO media side, and we do a number of things. Of course, we monitor the printing industry's performance and prospects, what's happening, what we believe is ahead and why, and most important, how to make what's happening and what's ahead an opportunity rather than a threat. We monitor the American economy because, as the last year has reminded us, if one thing hasn't changed about our industry, it's our dependence on the economy. We do customized research. Maybe a member or a non-member, for that matter, wants to investigate a particular issue. Maybe the outlook for a specific product market or utilization of a particular technology, or maybe how their customers and clients perceive their brand. We can do that. And personally, I consider the most important part of my job to be an observer of our industry. In the course of a year, I will survey, interview, speak with, or otherwise interact with more than 1,000 printing company owners and executives. And my job ultimately is to listen very carefully to what they say about their businesses and our industry, and then to take what I've heard and what I've learned and create research that will help them be more competitive and more profitable.
Great. So it sounds like you have a lot of resources for people for their businesses and
Exactly.
having a successful business. So what do you do specifically at Printing United Alliance?
We conduct a number of research projects. We involve ourselves in pretty much anything that is important to the membership. That may be a capital investment study, or it may be an HR study. Or it may be something very specific to a technology or some kind of demographic or social trend. And what we ultimately want to do is produce research that I describe simply as research you can count on and act on. And I emphasize act on because it's not enough to know what's happening and what's likely ahead. The game changer is knowing what to do right now to make what's happening and what's ahead an opportunity rather than a threat. So our research reports include what I call must-dos. And those are actions our members can take right now to capture the opportunities they've talked to us about and address the concerns that they've talked to us about. Again, research that you can count on, but more importantly, you can also act on to build competitiveness, to build long-term profitability.
Great. And so obviously the research is incredibly beneficial for the members. What else can you offer to members?
We offer consulting services, and we offer in-depth analysis of any issue that may be of interest to them. Again, it could be a demographic trend, or it could be certainly an economic trend, or a technological trend. And what we will do is use, as you indicated, the resources we have and the research program, the powerful research program that we've built to investigate those trends and provide conclusions and recommendations that can make a difference in their businesses.
Great. So what are you most excited about in the printing industry right now?
Believe it or not, you know what most excites me? And I mean, it's probably going to surprise you, but I am most surprised by or excited by how many of the participants in our research used COVID-19 crisis to develop critical skills, critical management and leadership skills, market analysis skills, communication skills, flexibility, strategic planning, operational planning, efficiency, and of course, execution, that critical ability to actually do what we know needs to be done. And those skills that I've watched these folks develop during the COVID crisis are exactly the skills that are going to help them participate fully in the recovery ahead. And as our reports show, we believe our industry will begin growing again next quarter, and that growth will accelerate through year end. Recovery is coming. It's going to be a vigorous, robust recovery, but it will not be the rising tide that lifts all boats. It is going to be an exclusive recovery, not an inclusive recovery, and it's going to leave a lot of companies behind. And the skills I just mentioned that I've seen our research group develop and continue to develop are exactly the kinds of skills that position them so well to participate in the recovery ahead. And that's what really excites me. I see how well prepared they are to take advantage of the kind of growth opportunities that are going to be coming our way, starting, as I said, within a matter of months.
You touched on this a little bit, but can you tell us a little more about the Printing United Alliance economic research? What topics do you study and what is the goal of the research?
Right, and as you indicated, sure, we study the economy. We have to, because it's important to our industry. We study current and expected business trends in our industry. We want to know what's happening and what's likely ahead. And in fact, we have developed proprietary current indexes of industry activity and leading indexes of industry activity. And those indexes were tested and performed very well during the COVID crisis. The index of current business indicators captured the extraordinary depth and breadth of the crisis, and our index of leading business indicators is now showing that recovery is ahead. But it's more than that. We investigate broadly the trends, whether economic, whether technological, whether sociological, whether demographic, that are most important to our industry's performance. For example, we study convergence, or the movement of printing companies beyond their core segment, the commercial printer moving into apparel decoration, the graphic and sign producer moving into commercial printing. We study the diversification beyond printing. Many of the companies we survey are moving into fulfillment, database creation and management, the development of one-to-one marketing programs for their clients. In fact, our most recent survey showed that on average, our research group was receiving 24.7% of their revenue from something other than printing. So we study that aspect of diversification. We study the migration of printers into personalized, integrated, mobile and interactive communication. As I mentioned earlier, capital investment. Where are printers investing? How much are they investing? And most important, why are they making those particular investments? And of course, HR issues. No industry thrives without a reliable supply of qualified, productive personnel. So we study HR best practices, compensation rates, recruitment practices, again, anything that we believe is critical to our members' long-term competitiveness and profitability, we want to investigate that.
So it sounds like you cover a variety of issues and areas. So can you tell us who participates in this research and how members can access the results?
Absolutely. Critical point. Last year alone, we had nearly 770 companies participate in at least one of our surveys. Their annual sales ranged from less than $500,000 to more than $500 million. Broad representative group of the industry. Participants include graphic and sign producers, apparel decorators, commercial printers, functional printers, packaging printers and converters. And I'll only make one point about our surveys. We don't simply throw a survey out and hope somebody responds. We carefully build representative panels of participants in our surveys. Folks who participate regularly, we know who they are, they participate regularly. Why is that a big deal? Because then when we see something change from survey to survey, we know it's because something is really happening in the industry, not because we surveyed one group the first time and a different group the second time. And panels also help us minimize the biases, such as non-response bias, that often invalidate survey results. Again, research you can count on and act on. And in terms of access, our reports are a member benefit. They are an exclusive member benefit. Members can download the complete reports at the Printing United Alliance website. Non-members can download an infographic summary, but you want the real thing, you want the full story, what's happening, what's ahead, and what to do about it, the how-tos, and you got to be a member.
Great. Thank you so much for all of that information. It's going to be very helpful for our members. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Ashley, for having me.
Yeah, of course. So make sure to keep your eye on future episodes of Membership Minute, where we will interview other Printing United Alliance experts. Printing United Alliance is an association built by and for the printing industry. To learn more about the benefits of becoming a Printing United Alliance member, visit us at sgia.org. Our team is looking forward to hearing from you.